happening? This is MBJ with Collective Art Collaborations in conjunction with Rolling Out Magazine. I'm here today with multi-talented Petie Parker.
Yes, sir.
Who is currently the general manager of Atlanta's critically acclaimed Petie Station's Art and Design Community Center. As I looked, he's also an advocate in the Atlanta's creative community. But today we are here to talk to him about his current exhibition, Heartbreaks and Heroes. How you doing today, Mr. Petie Parker?
Man, I'm blessed. I feel great. Absolutely amazing.
Well, I'm glad you took the time to talk with us today.
Of course.
So we're going to start right off with the exhibit, and I got a chance to check it out. And the title was very interesting to me. What is the meaning of the title, Heartbreaks and Heroes?
Well, last year, for everybody, there's a lot of heartbreak, but for me specifically, I seem to have caused a lot of heartbreak. Subconsciously, I told myself, or I was kind of in denial as to being a heartbreaker, but at the same time, I also found out I could really paint. And I don't know if subconsciously that came about or if I've been in denial, but it's kind of a balance. Like painting saved my life, and while I was focused on painting, I kind of caused some heartbreak as well. So I just thought it made sense to kind of put the two together and just have a show with that title.
That's interesting. So when you came up with the concept, what was the first piece that you did?
This behind me, actually. This is the first piece. This was like my showpiece. I did this piece here at Petie Station and left it up while I was working on it so people could kind of come by and ask what was going on. It's like a promotional piece almost. And I usually do a lot of portraits, so this was my first time doing something that really wasn't a portrait and it was more so concept-based. So yeah, this big one right here, I call it Her Lips. This is my first.
Her Lips?
Yeah, Her Lips, yeah.
Okay. And seeing your work previously and then coming to the exhibit, you have a distinct style of how you lay your images and how you put your images on your canvas. How did you come up with that concept and what's behind?
Oh man,
some insight on that concept.
I just always love matte black and glossy black together. It's just something about black itself. I wear a lot of black. I come to realize too, but I just really felt like it would really hit different if I could put black on any black and you could still be able to read it. So I really just discovered it on accident. So I mixed glossy paint with black, and then I came back with a matte at times. And the first time I did it, I just kind of knew I had something different. It's almost like it's 3D. When you look at it at a certain angle, sometimes you don't see the words or the letters or the graphics or the paintings. Then when you look at it at another angle, you see the whole thing. And I just thought that was amazing. So ever since I figured that out, I had to make that my style. You know, all last year I was trying to find a style, and I'm happy that within 1 year of painting, I actually found that style.
I looked at a couple of the images and fell in love with two of them.
Okay.
The one over here with the hand. This is a heart Heroes and Heartbreaks. What is that hand? What's the name of that piece and what does it represent?
Well, the name of this piece is actually called Gimme Love. It's a hand actually reaching out for a heart. It's in its grasp. And I actually have a technology, an app that'll be out shortly. And when you look at this piece through the app, it actually grabs that heart and takes it back into the darkness. So it's called Gimme Love. It's reaching for different hearts, and it finally got one in its grasp, and now it's going to grab hold of it and not let it go.
And this piece over here with the dark figure looming over the floating lady.
Right.
What's the name?
I call that piece Falling for Me. If you really look at that piece, again, if you look at this piece at a certain angle, you really can't see the other ladies that's within the piece. But when you do kind of catch it with the right light, there's actually 4 other women aside from the one that I painted that's actually fallen in different ways. One of them seems like she just found out. She's like, oh, I'm falling. One is falling gracefully. The other one is just diving into it like she's with it. And another one is just out of control, like she doesn't like the fact that she's falling. So I kind of wanted to represent that within this piece.
We're here in Atlanta. Um, the art community seems to be bustling
Right.
right now in Atlanta. How did you get into it and get where you are?
Oh, man. I actually started off managing an artist by the name of Paper Frank, still a good friend of mine. Man, that had to be almost 8 years. That was a long time ago. Probably almost 10 years ago. I started off managing Frank. And from there, I kind of learned the game as far as marketing and helping creatives monetize what they do. From sending email blasts to following up with people to trying to sell art, to artists coming to me with their ideas. And I'm saying, all right, strategically, this is the best way to go about doing it. So that's really how I came into the game. And then from him, I started managing a photographer by the name of Evan 5PS. He goes by Evan Ramf now, and a number of other influencers. When I started managing these guys, I don't even think the term influencer was a thing. So that's really how I got my start. And through Frank, I met Maya Bailey, who of course is the owner of Petie Street Station where I work now. And that's really how I got into the game, into the art world, is through Paper Frank introducing me to Maya and kind of bringing me around other artists within the art world here in Atlanta.
From that, where did you discover that you had the talent to do the same things that you were doing with folks that you were managing?
Well, during COVID, I would say, you have the time to do certain things. I think we had an anniversary show, actually. The last anniversary show we had here. We have an anniversary show almost every year, and it's our 13th one. And me being a manager here, a lot of times you got to submit your artwork. But we have the opportunity to have our own room of our own art in it. So that was my first attempt, and I didn't think I could really paint, so I just used a palette knife. And it came out pretty dope. And then I ended up meeting a young lady, and she just inspired me to paint, and this is during COVID. And I actually tried painting, and I painted her, and I was like, oh, I could really paint. So from there, I went back to the original piece that I used with a palette knife and just painted over it. And then when I painted that one, that's when I was like, okay, I think I got something here. But I really just started painting during COVID. I had no idea I could paint. I had never painted before in my life. If I did, it was like a stencil on a wall or something like that. So like I said, I don't know if it was denial or subconscious, but I think I was really just soaking in all the artists who I had worked with, who had been around me, just looking at techniques to the point to where when I sat down, I was able to execute in my own way.
Wow. And and looking at your background, that's really hard. For me, looking at that, granted that you have your own journey.
Right.
But I've seen all of the manager positions you had and all. It looked like you were on your way to a Fortune 500 job.
Man.
and now you're doing exhibits that are, in my mind, I cover a lot of exhibits that are, in my opinion, stunning. Is this your first exhibit?
Yeah, it is. I collabed with an artist. His name is Tom Davey. We used to call him Markers. And he did all the artwork, and I just did some AR activations, like with my app. And I did that with him, but this is my first solo exhibit, my own artwork. And just for it to have come within a year of me started painting, I'm blessed, man. I really can't complain. It's manifestation to the max.
and I was going to ask you, how does it feel? How does it feel a year later, you're exhibiting and people are looking at your work and going, wow. Other artists,
It really has a hit. It's humbling. It really is. Now I truly believe I could do, or not just me, anybody could do whatever they put their mind to if they really want it. I believe in manifestation now. So it's humbling in the sense that it's making me patient because I truly believe I can get whatever I want. It's just a matter of me being patient and waiting for the right time for that to happen to me. And if I still work towards it, it's going to eventually come. So now this has me more hyper-focused on being an artist and perfecting this craft as an artist. I found like I found my purpose at this point doing this.
With the Atlanta market wide open for artists and creatives, how do, or what
Oh man, well, honestly, there's a lot of things I wanted to do with this show. That would it be in my first show, I didn't execute it or have an opportunity to display certain things. So throughout the year, I'm just gonna continue to drop these little pieces or little installations or little art projects to show people like my full range. I really want to dive deeper into the augmented reality world and really show people and be the augmented reality artist and kind of put that on the map. I actually just was awarded a residency for 2 years.
Just stop. What do you mean by augmented?
Oh, okay. So augmented reality is, if you think of virtual reality, you're put into a virtual world. Like you put the goggles on and a virtual world appears around you. With AR, it's a digital element that's put into the real world. So when you look at my art pieces through my app, it actually starts to move and you can see that through the app that I have. So if you think of Pokemon Go, when that came out, you can catch the Pokemon. That was a digital element in the real world around you. So I'm taking that technology and infusing it into my artwork.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you, at the present time, mentoring any other young artists?
At the moment, I'm not. I am looking to, for sure. I think I've gotten to a point now to, first I just want to kind of find my style. But I think now being an artist and having the management background, it makes sense for me to start to mentor somebody. And that's why being here at this Art and Design Community Center just makes perfect sense. I also just got a residency, and that's a part of the process too. I have to do 3 hours of community service, and why not it be mentoring younger artists? So.
Where are you doing the residency?
I got the residency through Creatives Pro. It's a 2-year residency. We also get a shared creative space. I can't believe I got that. I'm honored to have gotten that. So a lot of things have been, I wouldn't say falling in my lap, it's just been a lot of confirmation.
Yeah, that
for
sounds
sure.
like something that a lot of people probably applied for.
Yeah,
That sounds like something, I mean,
for sure.
is it a space?
Yeah, it's a space. They took old school and turned them into apartments. So now myself and 8 other artists have apartments now that we could, that's fully covered as far as rent goes. So now we can really focus on being artists and really creating. So it's a hell of a blessing. But since I've started, I've been awarded that. I've been awarded certain projects. I have a mural in Little Five. I have a mural at the Trap Museum. I have a mural on Auburn Avenue, and all these things were just awarded to me. And that really came from me managing artists and knowing how to apply for these things. So I think it's really important for me to show other artists how to go about doing that too, like a good way to go about doing that, to make sure you secure these opportunities, because they're out there for sure.
And you're so very right. I mean, I think the creative community gained a lot when they gained you as an artist, but I think they lost a little bit because you actually saw how to make advancement for people who are in the art world.
Right.
So if you're talking to a young person now and they're getting ready to entrench themselves into this competitive art world, especially in Atlanta, how would you tell them to go about it?
Man, I don't think there's really a set way. I think you need to find, I wouldn't say a tribe, but I would research, and you can do that easily with social media now. Research a group of artists or an artist or a community center that's really going in the direction that you want to go, and find out what it takes to get in. Like, I personally was taking out trash and volunteering here, so much so that they told me I was the manager. Like, I literally took them to be around who can really show you the ropes. And then that's how you get into group shows and things like that, and people get to see your artwork. And don't be afraid to ask people questions and pick people's brains, because you'll be amazed at how many people want to share their story and give you some input and insight, for sure.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with the world as far as Petie Parker's artwork? I also saw, while looking at this stuff, that you, I guess, from the name Petie Parker, you were also web designer.
Yeah, that's originally where it originated from. That's where it came from. It was a marketing idea. Even this mask, obviously, was a marketing idea because I was a web slanger, so to speak, web slinger, web slanger. So that's where the name originated from. And then when I was managing Evan, he was doing so well on IG as a photographer for validation. I said, hey man, let's once a week just take a picture of me in this mask, and that's where that came from too. So I mean, I think if you're trying to build any brand, you got to be very strategic. Everything I do is well thought out. It might not look like it sometimes, but I'm definitely thinking about a strategic plan moving forward. And for me, doing web design, this was a part of that plan, and ever since I just kind of evolved and moved on. So I'm still merging web design into what I'm doing. I actually have a auction platform that I'll be releasing this month, so people can actually auction and bid on the pieces that I have here in the gallery right now.
Man, well, I sure appreciate the time, and once again, it's a collective art collaboration in conjunction with Rolling Out, and we were here today at Petie Street Station with the Petie Parker.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it.